All we've been hearing lately is ban Firewall, worst format ever. But I'm here to bring to the table a rather interesting thought. By removing Firewall from the equation, are we inadvertently making the format worse than it already is? You're taking away several decks that sit at the dinner table, and you're taking away a little bit of diversity. So a little bit of food for thought there. So let's go into this discussion with that thought, and really that thought only, shall we? God, I love showers. So, what is up, guys? So today I wanted to talk about, by removing Firewall from the equation, how much do we hurt / help the metagame? And I'll just start off by saying that Firewall has been one of the most generally designed cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Had he been a once per turn on the special summon clause for an arrow that he points to if the monster goes to the graveyard, you get to special summon another monster, I think the card would have been inherently more blessed or more fixed for its time. For those of you that live under a rock, I mean, the fact that Firewall's degeneracy has just promoted itself into an FTK / OTK assister. And you would figure there were infinite loops that were already present in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But it just kind of takes one of these loops to kind of show itself back up when you have a looping-esque effect for a card. You know, people don't seem to understand that infinite loops are fine to a degree as long as they're within the tier 3 and below style of decks. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and complain when Gem Knight FTK beats me, because every blue moon the deck will just show up and it's like, hey, that's cool. You know, it's kind of cool to see something not so mainstream, but when it switches to the 70 plus consistency route that you're kind of starting to see now with Danger FTK, then there becomes an issue in the game. It's never really until it crosses over into the consistency route of being super over the top do I personally feel that we end up having issues. Now, the main troublesome factor that has been causing all of this bullshit has been Cannon Soldier. And it's also Toon Cannon Soldier MK2, you know, all of this fun shit. I don't think a lot of people kind of understand that these cards should already be banned. Leaving Firewall around for at least one more format isn't terribly... It's not a shitty choice, to be honest with you. You know, they preemptively took care of a Assault Core because 2 of it with Firewall Dragon caused this loop. And it's kind of the same thing that you're seeing right now with Cannon Soldier, because cards are not restricted to once per turn. You have these style of effects that are kind of coming out with loop, and kill your opponent. And this is only because we have so many of these non-restrictive summon mechanics in the game. Within their own time, we're fine. You know, the main culprit that's causing this entire bullshit next to Cannon Soldier is Grabba. And I know a lot of people were talking about, like, oh no, Konami's just going to ban Grabba. No. If you kill Grabba, and you kill the Cannon Soldiers, and you kill Amazonas, the one that pings for damage, and you leave Firewall alone, you've taken one deck away from the equation. You've got a bunch of others left in the field, but then you're taking away the potential for Dark World. You're punishing these really weird style of decks. Like, I can't tell you the last time I saw Dark World be competitive. Absolutely not. But taking away Grapha just because there's 1 or 2 issues being caused by another card. Why are we not banning the culprit card itself? Like, hello, Firewall. I see you over there, buddy. I know you're watching this video. Like, I know you're going to comment and tell me you're not the problem. Well, you see, but you are the problem. And I don't think it's fair to ban Grapha. Now, when we look at Firewall, Firewall is being the staple force right now for Goki. Now, I don't like Goki. I think the concept of being able to have 7 extra monsters to climb link ladders with, is not fair for the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, also the fact that you can produce a Tri-Gate and other things like that. Like, ain't nobody want to play against a deck that builds this unbreakable board that your opponent can't fucking deal with. Now, on the flip side of that equation, if we take care of all of the other problems and we leave Goki as a viable deck in the format, that's one more deck to sit at the dinner table for your quote-unquote diversity. And that was one of the things I was thinking about. It's as we kind of start to take away Firewall Dragon. Things like Goki, Goki, contrary to popular belief, I've had people in my comment section that were like, hey, it's the nightmares that really made Goki take off. Yes and no. Before Nightmares were released, there were Gokis that were topping events. They were very few and far in between. But the deck was still sitting at the dinner table or making an attempt to. It was only really after people knew the Nightmares were coming that people started playing the deck before the Nightmare engine was really already here. And those were the people that I was talking about. I think a lot of people kind of missed that. Yes, it was the Nightmare engine that took them off, but they were already starting to grow in popularity because people knew the new stuff was coming. So they were already preparing themselves. And that was relatively cool. But it was all because of Firewall Dragon. That special summon capability. You can't tell you the last time that we saw people playing proxy. Oh, Goblin's Band. Oh, absolutely. But removing Firewall does allow Gokis to just die off. So many people are so sick of playing against that deck at this point that it's become an absolute horror for people. Now, the only other deck that I can see being hurt by the removal of Firewall is Spiral. And Spiral has been spiraling out of control since a while now, actually. Yes, Firewall does help a lot of their combos, but I'm pretty sure you will see an 8,000 attack combo Spiral video after Firewall's banned. Seems to be the go-to for a lot of players. People, they're like, oh, Spirals are dead. No, they're still here, and it's relatively weird just what the deck still gets love for. But unfortunately, I think if you remove Firewall, you do put that unnecessary strain on just the beauty of Spiral. So, you kill it. You kill probably one relevant deck, one not so relevant deck. Now, by removing Firewall from the equation, hello, Thunder Dragons. Every Thunder Dragon player out there is probably going to rejoice. Now, granted, you go first with Thunder Dragons against Goki. You got a very good chance of winning. But on the flip side of that equation, if Goki goes first, it sets up that big extra lock board and Gunblars you. Well, sometimes Gunblar's not the best Gunblar. But if you get met with this very large force from your opponent, you're decently in a shitty position. Producing Colossalus on your opponent and against Goki's really good. But Thunder Dragon only inherently gets better with the removal of Firewall Dragon because it's one less bullshit deck that they have to deal with. And then, of course, by removing that, things like Altergeist come back in, which naturally will check Thunder Dragons a little bit. Now, the biggest one that is helped out from this is our friend Sky Striker. You remove the FTK from the game, Sky Striker absolutely will high-five you. You will be surprised. The thing that kind of hurts Sky Striker is the deck is slightly slower than most. Now, you're in a very quick format right now. It's relatively interesting. When you look at Sky Strikers, you see multi-roll and things like that, but the amount of times I've seen the deck stall a turn or even 2 turns to make an attempt to set up. Once you go, but on the flip side, when you're dead in the water, you're dead in the water. That's kind of the problem that we kind of see with Striker. So if you remove Firewall, you kind of try to slow down the format. Yes, Thunder Dragons will still be here. Yes, Altergeist will still be here. But just slowing down the format an instant will really speed up Sky Striker. It's a really weird thing just to kind of see what ends up happening when you remove certain cards from an equation and you just kind of give more power to these other decks inadvertently. I do think for the sake of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, having less FTKs in the game is a good thing. But people have to remember FTKs in a game mean that players are exploring. And yes, it's degenerate exploring, but that's not the case. When you see people coming up with these cool combos and things like that, that means the game's not dead. It means that more people are putting their brains to work. And people are exploiting things, which means things are going to get banned, which means things are getting done, which I really like. So, in the long run, I don't think hurting Firewall is going to hurt the overall competitive scene. It's going to hurt a couple of the decks being shown, and we'll probably go down into a smaller metagame until the next set ends up releasing. So, guys, do you agree with my thoughts or not? Please, leave a comment down below to what you guys think, and, well, I'm out. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.